Well, Carnival is calling BS. Calling BS on a graphic that was released widely to the internet. And it calls into question whether the new Carnival rules are fake or not. In this live episode today, I want to break down everything that's happened and try to sort through it and determine what is real and what is not real. We'll go through some of the information first. I'll show you the things that I know, and then we'll do a little Q&A. Welcome to the La Lita Loca. My name is Tony. I am your host. Welcome to the Cruise Show Live. Let's just jump right into it. First, let's go over and look at this article that was on People's website. It says Carnival Cruise Line responds to rumor of strict new curfew and club rules after online outcry. Basically, a summation of this article is that they were talking to, I believe, the head of PR at Carnival. And essentially what the head of PR Carnival said is that there is a fake infographic out there that has caused people to have a large conversation about whether or not Carnival has changed their rules based on the recent behavior of cruisers. And he's saying there's this fake document that's caused that, but there also is a real document that was released a few months ago that, I think that's where the confusion comes in. And I made a video the other day talking about new Carnival rules, and I referenced this infographic, and I attributed that infographic to Carnival. And since then, there's been a lot of information that has come out that's saying that the infographic was not published by Carnival. The question becomes, for me at least, and I did the deep dive, whether the rules that were laid out in the recently put out infographic, were the rules fake? Or was just the infographic that was attributed to Carnival fake? And does any of it really matter? That's basically what we want to get to. But yeah, in the People magazine, essentially the PR guy is saying a lot of the hubbub has been over this infographic. There is a real document out there. And so let's look at the various things that we're talking about. Here is the infographic that I shared just the other day. When I was talking about this, it kind of looks like a Carnival piece of information, but it's not. So this is the fake infographic. And so anything that you see that says effective June 2025 is the fake. Now, if you look through all of the rules, these are some rules that have been in place for a while, but all of these rules are valid. So what it says under teen curfew, that is a legit Carnival rule. What it says under the age policy, that is a legit Carnival rule. What it says under the fan ban, that is a legit Carnival rule. What it says under behavior and consequences, this is the only thing that I found that really seems to be incorrect. It says that if you misbehave on a Carnival cruise, you could be kicked off the cruise ship without a refund. That part is true, but you may be fined up to $5,000. I think on Carnival's official website and official documentation, that number is only $500. And so that is an inaccuracy. And then the boarding requirements where it says that you have to be checked in by midnight, that's actually on the Carnival website also. So Carnival's out saying, hey, this infographic is fake and it's causing a lot of information. What I think happened, and this is just me speculating, I think somebody just tried to summarize the recent rules that have been highlighted. Now, like I said, some of these rules have been in place for a while, and I think whoever did the infographic messed up when they said the 5,000 instead of 500. Let's move over and look at the real rules. And I think the thing that started all of this, and I think I made a video a couple months ago saying that Carnival's babying us. This is the letter that is being put into Carnival cruise cabins currently. And I think we got one on our recent cruise on the Carnival Paradise. I think we were on Paradise just a couple months ago. All my days are running together. Carnival Paradise, we were there March the 31st. So March, May, June. So just a couple months ago. And essentially what was in the summary infographic, some of that is definitely pulled out of this reminder document that Carnival has sent out. But I guess at the end of the day, and the thing that I said in that video the other day is that Carnival has a problem, and the problem is a behavior problem. And it's people behaving badly, and it's all people. And I think part of the challenge is, a lot of people are targeting more so or focusing more so on the people. And there's a lot of evidence of people doing things on Carnival cruises that are bad. But I think too many people focus on the people and they don't focus on the behavior. And Carnival as a business, they're definitely trying to address the behavior. But, the other big controversy that came out of that isn't even listed on any of these documents. There was a rumor that was started that said Carnival had banned hip hop music, rap music, and they'd also banned the wobble. And none of that's true. And so I think the problem and the challenge, the big challenge with social media, and I'm a part of that problem, is there's so many different voices saying so many different things, gathering information from so many different places. And sometimes it's really hard to zone in on what the actual is. And, it only takes one or two people saying, hey, Carnival's banned rap music, which I never said that, but it only takes one or two people saying Carnival banned hip hop and rap music and the wobble for half of the internet to run with it. I saw so many different pieces of social media. Carnival's banned rap music, and it's just not true. So that's the challenge that we find ourselves in. But I just want to come on live and I wanted to address it because part of the new narrative is that this infographic's fake, and I don't even think fake is the right word. I think the appropriate thing is this is not a Carnival infographic. I think that's the thing. This is a summation of Carnival's rules that somebody put out. There is an inaccuracy in it. There's some spelling inaccuracies in it also. But I don't think you can throw the baby out with the bathwater because, it essentially summarizes the rules. Now, trying to say that these were effective June 2025, that's true in its statement. They were effective during this time, but they're also effective here in July, and some of them were affected before June of 2025. But I think the key thing that we have to focus in on is that Carnival is trying to address behavior. I am running a poll there. Make sure you answer the poll. Have you ever cruised on a Carnival cruise ship? I was just doing the tally before the show. I've cruised 65, 66 times since 2017, and 20 of those times, at least 20 of those times, were on Carnival cruise ships. So somebody got onto me in the comments the other day, like, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never been on a Carnival cruise. And I'm thinking, well, really a third of my cruises were Carnival cruises. And I've cruised on 4-day cruises, 3-day cruises, big ship, small ship. I've been in the thick of it when it comes to Carnival, and I continue to say that Carnival is really one of the best ways to get people into cruising. It's definitely a different experience than other cruise lines, and that should be true. That way we have a choice as cruisers to choose the cruise lines that we want to cruise with. But that's the big thing I want to talk about, and we can hash it out in the conversation in the comments. I also want to circle back around to what I was talking about yesterday with cruise loyalty and how Seabourn has gone to a use it or lose it hybrid system where you get points for sailing and points for spending. I think I said in there that there weren't other programs that gave you points for spending, but that's incorrect also. We get points for spending for MSC cruises. You also get points for spending on Holland America Line. So there's a mix out there. We're currently working on a kind of a breakdown of cruise loyalty, a single one-page reference that we'll have available probably next week or so, where we can email that to you, that kind of thing. But I want to mention that. And I didn't think the presentation was going to be that long. It looks like we're about 10 minutes in. So I'd love to spend the rest of the hour answering the questions. If you're just here for the Carnival info, that is the update. Help us out. We're trying to get to 300,000 subscribers. We're only 14,000 away. So if you're digging the cruise information, like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, please consider subscribing. And if you're here in the live show, hit that like button so that we can let YouTube know that there's a party going on right here. All right, I'm going to jump into the chat. I'm going to answer some questions, and we can talk about anything that you want to. I know my wife, the lovely Jenny B, is out there also. All right, let's see what is going on. All right. Any questions? Questions? No questions? We can make this a short one if you guys want to talk about anything. Question from Michelle B. When is your next cruise? That's a great question, Michelle B. I just added it to Shipmate. My next cruise is in 16 days on the MSC World America. It's going to be leaving out of Miami on August the 2nd. I'll be going to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, San Juan in Puerto Rico. Sounds like I got Mofongo in my future. And I'll also be spending a day at Ocean Cay, MSC's Marine Reserve. Going to be trying out the World America. That's going to be a deal where MSC is bringing me on board. I talked to them tomorrow to get some idea of what kind of content they want made. So that's going to be interesting. And it's, of course, their newest ship. It's a big ship. It's really kind of out there to compete with some of Royal's Oasis class size ships. And I'm looking forward to trying to take it all in. Question, can you wobble for us on the dance break? So I don't really know how to wobble, and I can't play the song The Wobble because of copyright reasons, but that would be cool. I guess I could learn how to do the wobble. I go to the sail away all the time and watch people do it, but I never really participated. Let's see. The Cam fam, with the dream going to New Orleans in 2027, what do you think will come to Galveston? I'm not that keen on the different ships and where they go, so I don't really know, but I know that Carnival will send another ship over there. Galveston's a big play for them, so that's pretty cool. Todd says, have you ever been to the Southampton port in the UK? Tips. I have been to Southampton several times. Normally, I stay the night before near the airport in Heathrow. There's a hotel that's Hilton Garden Inn. It's attached to Heathrow. And then I get some sort of car to take me down to Southampton. I'd love to do it another way. I'd love to go and stay at a hotel in Southampton the night before the cruise, but I haven't done that yet. What I do like on most of these cruises that are disembarking in Southampton and you have to get back to Heathrow, a lot of them offer excursions. And one of the cool excursions I did leaving Southampton was a stop at Stonehenge. So you do have options when you're coming back, but I'm not sure what other tips you're looking for there. But I guess my big tip, stay near the airport. It's really easy. You don't have to try to get around London and then arrange a car to get down to Southampton. The nice thing also about staying at the airport is there is an underground stop at the airport. So if you do want to get out and explore London, you can take all your bags over to the hotel, and then you can go back over to the terminal there in the airport and jump on the underground, get on the railway, and go all over London. I think you can actually get to Southampton by rail. I think it's a multi-step process, but that's a possibility. Best hotel for Miami. Sam, we like to stay in... Sam asked that question. We like to stay in an area called the Blue Lagoon, and they have most of the varieties of hotels there. I know there's like a Hampton Inn, and I think there's a Holiday Inn. I think there's some sort of Hilton variety there, depending where you're banging out that loyalty. It's about a 20 or 30-minute ride away from the port, but I find it to be less expensive than hotels that are right there on South Beach, and there's good food and restaurants around there. So look for something in the Blue Lagoon area would be my suggestion. Orlando says, Tony, last November I was on the MSC and I spent a lot and I got off and I had 0 points for it. I was told they no longer do points for spend. Not sure if I got told to toll the tail. I think we recently looked at the MSC loyalty program and that was still a line item, but I don't know if there's any kind of qualifier. I'll have to take another look at that before we publish our thing. Ryan Q, what's up, buddy? Ryan Q, sometimes a guest host on the Always Be Booked cruise podcast. Make sure you check that out. Do you have airline tips for fluffy travelers? I usually fly first class. International flights for cruises are ridiculous. Unfortunately, Ryan, so my favorite domestic tip for fluffy cruisers, I call it Fat Man First Class. I do like Southwest person of size policy. You have to purchase 2 tickets. The easiest way to do it, you can do it 2 ways. The easiest way to do it is to purchase 2 tickets. They have a process on their website where you can purchase 2 tickets. Not every airline makes it that easy, where you can purchase 2 tickets and they know that one of them's an extra seat for you. And then when you go to the airport, check in with an actual person. They're going to give you your boarding pass, and they're also going to give you a second piece of paper that says seat reserved. That's the reservation for your second seat. And then you get priority boarding. So Southwest is a challenge sometimes to the boarding, but with the person of size policy and buying 2 tickets, you get priority boarding, and it's super easy. It doesn't really help us out internationally. I'm with you. I'm constantly trying to figure out where I can upgrade to be able to fly when I flew to China, I did buy two economy seats, but I had a lot of trouble with the airline I was with because they weren't used to people buying two seats. But that was really the only way I made it. Then when I went to Australia, I just bought the Delta One, the big pod, and it was like $9,000. It's the most I've ever spent on an airplane flight. And but yeah, internationally it's tough, and but domestically, I say Fat Man First Class. I don't know if that's the way they want to market it, but that's the way I market it in my head. Shannon says, when you're invited by a cruise line, what do they expect from you? It varies from cruise line to cruise line. Some cruise lines have no expectations. They say, hey, man, we're going to give you a free cruise. You come do your thing. Or sometimes a cruise line will say, hey, come on, we have press events, and we want you to follow a specific schedule. Some cruise lines have very specific things that they want you to cover. And a lot of times it depends whether you're just going on a free cruise and that's the compensation, whether it's a free cruise and money as a compensation. And so I think it varies cruise line to cruise line. But like I said, I have a meeting with MSC to find out exactly what they need. They're just giving me a free cruise on the MSC World America, no other compensation. Probably like a free excursion or two. I don't know if they'll give me any free specialty, but I got to figure all that out. And then what I try to do as best as I can is make sure I disclose all that. So when you're watching a video that I paid for versus a video that was given, like when you're watching a cruise that I paid for versus a cruise that some of it was free, at least you know what the distinction is. And I've said this before, on cruises I pay for, I tend to be more editorial, like, hey, this, that, the other, that kind of thing. But when I'm hosted or something like that, I tend to be more documentarian, right? Here's what the ship looks like. Here's what the experience looks like. Sometimes how I feel about it does shine through, but I don't want to be too heavily editorial on something that was given to me, because the fact that it's given to you seems like that skews you a little bit also. Steve Boggs, thank you for the question. Going on to Carnival Celebration, ABC Islands didn't get excursion. Are they walkable? So I've walked all over Aruba. I went on the quest for Lego one time in Aruba. The nice thing about Aruba is you can jump off. There's a casino nearby if you like that. There is also or am I thinking about Curacao? I might be thinking about Curacao, that dock at Curacao. Yeah, let me reserve that casino talk for Curacao. There's a casino that's walkable from Aruba, but the nice thing is when you leave the cruise port area in Aruba, there is a free tram that will take you around downtown Aruba. There's a free museum down there. There's a lot of shops. There's a lot of restaurants. So there's a lot of walkable stuff to do in Aruba. I've never been to Bonaire, but then when you come to Curacao, there's a walkable casino. There's a walkable fort there. Inside the fort, it's heavily Dutch influenced. There's like Dutch pottery. There's a Dutch restaurant. And then you can even walk to the floating bridge. The harbor there at Curacao is protected by a floating bridge. And so for boats to get into the deeper part of the harbor, this bridge has to swing in and out. That's really fascinating. You can walk across that bridge. They used to have one of those fences where people would put locks on it. I've done some video in Curacao and in Aruba, and both of those were kind of walking adventures, so make sure you check that out. I've yet to go to the B of the ABC Islands, so there you go. Christopher Barb, have you done an Antarctic cruise? And yet, if so, what do you think? I have not. I'm concerned as someone who's not I'm not fit at all, right? I'm a fat guy. And, it seems like those Antarctic cruises, you have a lot of going into the zodiac, and I think I have to be a smaller person. So if I can ever pull off being a little more fit, I would probably do Antarctic. I know there's some larger cruise ships that go down there and you kind of look at stuff from a distance, but I just remember Jay from the Ship Life going on an Antarctic cruise, and there would be days that it was questionable whether or not they would get off the ship onto those little zodiac boats. And it looked pretty active. And I think I would like to do it, but I just don't think my body would let me do it. But I would love to try it if I got in better shape. Question, any Mediterranean cruises on your horizon? The Smart Money Guy. We do have one booked for next year. Our friends Jamie and Sharon from the Sharon at Sea channel, that's a big recommend. They're having a group cruise on the Norwegian Viva. That's next May the 27th, 2026. It's a 9-night Greek Isles cruise. Starts from Cicciavecchia, which I can't say that right, but that's Rome. It goes to, it goes to Naples. It goes to Sicily. It goes to Malta. It goes to Athens, Santorini, Kusadashi, that's in Turkey, and Istanbul. Yeah, so that's going to be a fun cruise. We've got that for next year. That's going to be our really first venture into the Med. Sorry, I was choking on my own deal there. Question: how's the condition? This is Come Sail Away With Me has a question. How's the condition of the Royal Princess sailing on her in February? I was very happy with the Royal Princess. We're going on her again in October, and I hope to do a full ship tour. This was kind of a weird cruise for me because it was really out of cycle. I've been trying to rehab my knee, and I saw that my friend Don Terrace wasn't feeling very well, and I wasn't sure if he was going to go on that cruise, so we kind of last minute booked that cruise to go on it, and I didn't really have a lot of aspirations for filming. So really all I did was the 2 excursion videos where we walked around Juneau and Ketchikan. I did a couple cruise news shows, the cruise show from the cabin, but I didn't film a lot. But I tell you what, they brought on a guest entertainer, a world-class juggler, Jason Garfield. That was amazing. I think they had 3 production shows. They had a vocalist, so the entertainment was top-notch. The house band was into all kinds of music. They had a couple jazz sets. But I really like the piazza. I think one of the charms of Princess cruise ships are the piazza and the ability to have great seating and places to socialize, places to get a drink, places for food, all right there in the center of the ship. It's really an epicenter. Buffet was banging. I was shocked. You know, maybe I've run into some bad cruise buffets lately, but I was super happy with the buffet for breakfast and lunch. Then I ate in the main dining room, I think 6 of the 7 nights. One night we were out past dinner, and it was really good. So I think you'll have a good time. Our cabin was nice. The balcony was nice. So Mike Clark said, is the knee feeling better? So before I went on the cruise, I got a little bit of a sad news. So I went to physical therapy, did my physical therapy, and they finally did a general x-ray of my knee. And the doctor was like, hey, man, just doesn't look like you have a lot of cartilage left. So maybe the pain that you're feeling is bone on bone, which that was not great news to hear. And then he also said, but we can get an MRI, make sure there's no torn meniscus or anything like that. So I've got an MRI coming up later. It goes through phases. Like right now, my knee feels pretty good. But if I walk on it, like I was moving some stuff around in the house the other night, my knee started hurting. So yeah, that's the worst. Lingering pain is the worst. Hopefully we can get on a thing that makes it feel better. Thank you so much for that. Make sure you guys hit the like button while you are here, please. Just looking to see if there's other questions I may have missed. Make sure you type question in front of it. Josh says, as somebody that lives in the UK, they might only get to the Caribbean once. What Caribbean ports would you consider visiting? Eastern or Southern? There's a lot of great ports in the Western Caribbean, Cozumel being the crown jewel of the Western Caribbean. But I feel like if you go to the east or to the south, you're going to get some stuff that's got some European influence. So it's going to be interesting that way. But St. Thomas, St. Martin, Curacao, Aruba, Bonaire, any of those cruise ports, if you can get that on the itinerary, even like San Juan, Puerto Rico, a really cool place to go to. Again, all of the, I don't really dislike any of the Caribbean ports, but if I'm, sitting here going, okay, if I could go on a Caribbean cruise today, it would either be that itinerary that goes to St. Thomas, St. Martin, usually San Juan, or I would be looking to go southern to, Aruba, Curacao, and I'm assuming Bonaire is fun. So that's what I would be looking for. Randy Rowland, thank you so kindly for the super chat. Shout out to Devon Rowland. We love your show. Well, thank you, Rowlands, for watching the show. Thank you kindly for the super chat. I much appreciate it. Question from Monarch Ranch Garage. Which cruise line do you feel is the best for solo cruisers? I say this often, and some other cruise line's going to have to maybe change my mind. When I think solo cruising, I think what Norwegian does with their solo studio and solo cabins. Other cruise lines need to do that. They have a particular area set apart for solo cruisers. The solos have their own lounge where they can meet up. They have solo events nightly. and the cabins are nice. So other cruise lines do have things to entice solos. Royal Caribbean on some of their ships have solo cabins. I think most cruise lines have a solo meetup in a public lounge every night. But yeah, every time I think of solo, I'm thinking Norwegian Cruise Line. Question from Michelle Jeske Mama Bear. Hubby and I are doing a back-to-back, first to Alaska, then Hawaii. I know you were just in Alaska. Have you ever been to Hawaii? Any tips? I've never been to Hawaii. I'm not really sure what the best tips for Hawaii would be. I'm getting closer and closer to one. I've been resistive of Hawaii just because to me it really feels like the beach, and it really feels like outdoor. And I'm not always into the outdoor. I do like the outside in Alaska because the weather is usually agreeable and you get to see cool things. So I've got to change my, as Dylan wrote, I got to change my way of thinking, get myself a different set of rules. Was it Dylan or Ludacris? Either way, yeah, I got to change my way of thinking because I think I'm probably missing out on some interesting stuff in Hawaii, but I don't really have any tips. So if anybody's been to Hawaii and you have some tips for Michelle, drop them in the comments below. Let's see. I just want to see the poll. So we've had 1,100 people answer the poll. Have you ever cruised with Carnival Cruise Line? There's a lot of Carnival cruisers out there. You know, there's also a lot of anti-Carnival people out there. I'll never go on a Carnival cruise. But I really think you gotta give Carnival the respect it deserves. They bring a lot of people into cruising, and certainly people will go to other cruise lines. But most people that have cruised, or at least most people watching today that have cruised, have been on a Carnival cruise. Missy Westbrook. Question. I know everyone is tired of the loyalty talk with Carnival, but I really only cared about my free laundry. Do you know how much a bag is, and do they only do per item? No, they do bags. I think, I've had the free laundry for a little bit on Carnival. I think it's like, I don't know. I don't want to misquote the price, but I think it's less than $20, and it's as much as you can stuff in a bag. They also have a per piece laundry also. Like when I was on Princess, I did per pieces, and I had to say how many shirts and all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure Carnival still has a bag, and I feel like it's got to be less than $20, but I could be wrong. Anybody know the current price of laundry? Keith Hensley, what's up, buddy? Miss seeing you guys and your family. Have you seen any feedback on Celebration Key? We will be there in less than a month now. Sure miss you and Jenny B making the occasional trip to town. Yeah. I don't, now that my mom's moved out, so they live in near Knoxville. I don't know if they live right in Knoxville, Tennessee. My mom used to live in Powell, which is like a suburb of Knoxville. And we used to live in North Carolina, which is kind of on that interstate. Yeah, we haven't gone over there much. Miss you guys. I don't know about Celebration Key. I know that the Vista is out there now with the dignitaries, with the John Healds and the Christine Duffy. I know that Alana's out there, Lifewell Cruised. I think Travel Spree's on there. Derek from Island Time. I think they are destined for Celebration Key this week. And once they hit it, I'm assuming we'll see some footage. I've seen some promotional footage coming out, but I'm really interested in seeing the people that we know go there. And yeah, hopefully we'll have that. I would say by the beginning of next week, we'll start to see videos of Celebration Key. Question from QQ. What is the largest Royal Caribbean ship that could sell out of Tampa? I just got off the Enchantment, and while the older and smaller still had a great time. I think that's it. I don't particularly know where the cutoff is, but it's got to be small ship. Everything going out of Tampa's got to get under the Skyway Bridge. And so I was mentioning Jacksonville possibly for the new Margaritaville at Sea Beachcomber, and somebody was saying that that's too big for the bridges. So I think Beachcomber would probably even be too big for Tampa. But I don't know where the cutoff is for Royal, but it's going to be small ships sailing out of Tampa for all of the cruise lines. Question from LeVar. I'm going on the Carnival Celebration July the 22nd to July the 27th to August the 3rd, and we can leave the area of Celebration Key. Oh, can we leave the area? I don't really know much about Celebration Key, to be honest, LeVar. I don't think there's anything beyond it. So it's on the island of Grand Bahama, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know that they might have excursions that leave there. Again, that's still a mystery to me. That's a great question. That may have been said out there. So if anybody knows if you can leave Celebration Key, put that in the comments. Krupinski's question. What cruise line would you recommend for a first-time cruiser? So I'm going to give a little bit of a complicated answer. If you're looking to cruise for the first time, try to get hooked up with a travel agent. We recommend our friend Where's Walter Travel, and he could help you out. But the reason I say that is, for me to answer that question, I'd really need to ask you a few questions. What are you into? What do you want to do on your cruise? Are you more interested in the cruise, like the ship experience, or going someplace experience? And all the answers to those questions are going to help determine it. If you're looking for a fun time, say you're going to come to Florida and you're looking for a fun time in the Caribbean where you can have a beach day, where you can lay out by the pool, where you can have drinks, where you can listen to music, where you can see comedy, Carnival is awesome for that. If you've got a family, Carnival is awesome for that. If you want less of a party vibe, but you still have a family, I would go to Royal. If you don't have a family and you're looking for something that's maybe adults only, I would go to Virgin Voyages. Norwegian Cruise Line offers a lot family-wise, fun-wise, music-wise. So you've really got to hone in on what the whole point of cruising is for you. If you're more interested in how much time you're going to be able to spend in the cruise ports, I would look at a Princess, or I would look at a Holland America line, because traditionally they spend longer times in cruise ports. That's not always true, but there is a big focus on the ports on some lines more so than others. If you're looking for kind of a fully prepackaged experience in the Caribbean, jump on a Royal Caribbean ship that goes to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. It's like going to a theme park out at sea. So there's a lot of ways to answer that question, and that's why I advocate working with a travel agent, because they're free. If you find the right one, they don't charge you anything, and they should be asking you those questions to help you get the experience that you want. But I don't know that answers your question, but hopefully that gives you the information you need to fully get your question answered. Let's see. Kurt says, any future Cruise Talk Network interviews scheduled? Not yet, but there's people I want to talk to. And I know I'm only home for another 16 days, but I would love to get one in. I want to get, we're trying to get, Jenny and I are trying to get back to a weekly cadence. So there would always be a Cruise Talk Network podcast with me and Jenny B. And then, but I really, the person that comes to mind that I want to talk to is Gary and Lori. I don't know if you guys watch those guys. They look like a lot of fun. So I haven't reached out to them yet. And then I also asked the naturalist on the Royal Princess, Robert Raincock, if he would come on the podcast, and he said yes, but we haven't found a good way to connect with each other. So, it's wild. So there's a lot going on in our life. We've had a lot of family events. We've had some health events. And so my focus has been to continue to make sure that I deliver good cruise content here on the main La Lita Loca channel. And so it's kind of like World of Warcraft. Excuse me. It's kind of like World of Warcraft. You have your main characters, and then you have your alternate characters, or your alts. And so La Lita Loca is always our main character. And we put, whatever efforts we have to continue to make La Lita Loca good. And, the other things kind of like side projects. But I do like the podcast format. I do like the interview format. So hopefully I can do more of that. It is exciting for me, though, that now on podcast platforms, you can search for The Cruise Show, and you can get an audio version of the daily La Lita Loca stuff that we're doing that's related to kind of cruise news. But like if I do a tip video or something on La Lita Loca, there won't be an audio version of that. But we're trying to expand out that way. That's an easy lift. I'm just basically taking the audio from the Daily Show and putting it up in a podcast format. But actually going out and doing the interview podcast is a little more effort. And so, I'd love to get back to it. But so far, I haven't been able to work it in. Tom Davis says, Horde of the Alliance. All my kids were for the Horde, but I was Alliance. My very first, my main character was called Mathetes, and he was a human paladin yielding the light of healing. Parparobo, how tall am I? There was a time in my life I feel like I was 6'1", and then I told everybody I was 6 feet, and then one of the last times I went to the doctor, they told me I was 5'11". But I'm still holding on to 6 foot, so I don't know. I'm average. Well, I don't know what average height is, but I'm still gonna hold on and say I'm 6 feet tall. Anita Reddish, do you ever host group cruises? Yeah, so we did it really consistently, and then unfortunately we got a little burnout on it, and we're trying to get dip our toes back into it again a little more slowly and methodically. We have 2 group cruises coming up. We have one in October. Going out of New York City, going out of New York City to up the East Coast. and that one's going to be on the Enchanted Princess. It's leaving New York on October the 11th, going to Newport, Rhode Island, Boston, Mass, Portland, Maine, St. John, New Brunswick, and Halifax in Nova Scotia, and then one sea day. So that's a very port intensive, and all those ports are great. I did a version of that cruise either last year or the year before with my friend Don. I really wanted Jenny B to see those ports, and so we're doing those ports on a group cruise. There's only about 50 people going, so that's a good group cruise because we'll be able to spend a lot of time with a lot of people. They're all good group cruises, but I'm saying from a lot of time with a lot of people perspective, that's going to be a good one. And then next year, we have on the Norwegian Jewel, the first cruise out of Philadelphia, I think, in over 20 years for any cruise line. That one leaves Philadelphia, Norwegian Jewel. We got a couple one sea day, and then we hit Bermuda, and we're overnighting in Bermuda. And then we've got a sea day back. We go to Charleston, South Carolina, and then we go another sea day and then back up to Philly. So we're going to go to Philly a day or two early, try to do some Philly, like a Philly food tour and maybe a Philly arts tour. Our travel partner does all this. So I think, Jenny put a link down there. If you want to cruise with us, go to that link that she put there. And that's all booked through our travel partner, Where's Walter. And that's going to be a good time. Good time. All right. Question. Oh, that was the question. Question. Did you notice if Royal Princess had a poker table? Listen to this. This could be shocking. Come sail away with me. I spent 0 time in the casino. The only time I was in the casino is I would have to walk through to get to the theater. And where I was walking through, there was jokers to the left of me. No, slots to the left of me and roulette, blackjack. I saw one end of the craps table. I don't know if I saw a poker table there or not, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. I feel like normally, I don't know. I didn't see a poker table. I know the World Series of Poker just ended, and I think Ms. Rocky won it and immediately got put into the Poker Hall of Fame. Let's see. Scott says, what percentage of comp trips being you're a content provider? I probably have, so I've cruised 64 times, and I probably have less than 10 cruises that have been comped or paid for or where I've gotten paid by the cruise line. So the majority, the thing that we always try to do, and it's not a hard, fast rule, but most of the cruises we pay for ourselves. But yeah, we have taken, press trips on Princess. I've had trips from Norwegian. I had a trip from Margaritaville. I don't think I've ever had a press trip from Royal or Carnival. I'm trying to think what else. Holland, we had a trip. That New Zealand trip was a comp trip from Holland. The $9,000 airfare, they paid a portion of it. A lot of times with these flying things, I have to pay my own money to get to the bigger seats. But yeah, I would say maybe 10 out of 64, something like that. And then the main thing is I always try to tag them as paid promotion. So whenever you're watching the YouTube videos, if there's an ad in it or if I got something free, the very first thing you're going to see in the upper, I guess it's the upper left corner, you'll see a thing that says includes paid promotion. And then when I do post, I try to put hosted or ad in it. So for me, I'm glad to have those experiences. I'm glad that the cruise lines want to show me the best so I can show you the best. And I'm also glad to pay for my own stuff, but I do make sure that I tag it so you know when you're consuming the content. Question from the Lido Burrito. That's a great name. Going on a transatlantic from Barcelona in October on the Mardi Gras. Suggestion on a hotel close to the port. I've never been to Barcelona, so I don't know. But anybody that's stayed in Barcelona pre-cruise, do you have a suggestion for the Lido Burrito? The Lido. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Mike Clark said, I heard that Manatee County is trying to get a cruise port for larger ships that Tampa can handle. Have you heard anything about it? No, Mike, you're the first person that I've heard that from, but I'll definitely look into it. I feel like they would have to make a cruise terminal on the other side of the bridge, which, I don't know if they could do that. Maybe they could make what's on the other side of the bridge? Is it Clearwater or St. Pete? Is there anything past the bridge? I feel like when you go under the bridge, you can still see Clearwater. I don't know my geography very well, but I feel like you'd almost have to build a port on the other side of the bridge. Cans Express, thank you so much for the kind words. Jenny B just posted the link again for the group cruise if you need that information. Question from Chamarcus. I'm a little late to the party. I saw you going over the rules Carnival, but you skipped over the pool chair rules. What's the word? 40 minutes? Yeah, I believe that's true. I've seen that in a couple forms. I don't think that's a fake rule at all. I think 40 minutes is the rule. So again, the big takeaway from the beginning of the show is that this infographic that's been circulating around the internet, the new Carnival cruise rules effective June 2025. Carnival has come out and said that that's not their infographic. They're saying that that's a fake post. My contention is I don't know that it's necessarily a fake post. All of the rules check out except the behavior consequences. I think it's only $500 fine. But I feel like somebody probably tried to summarize the official rules and put that out. But I think the thing that kind of messed Carnival up is somebody put effective June 2025, and then the internet ran with, oh, this is a new thing in reaction to other things. So it's an interesting battle, I think, a challenge for Carnival because they're one of the world's most popular cruise lines. I feel like they're the gateway for cruising. So many people start their cruising career with Carnival, and sometimes Carnival has a behavior issue. Now, I've been on 20 Carnival cruises. I've never seen a fight. So, millions of people cruise every year that probably have never seen a fight. But I think millions of us have seen a fight because when a fight goes down, I was watching Jay the Ship Life yesterday, and somebody filmed a fight on a Carnival ship where a guy got knocked out. And there were 5 people there while there was a semi-unconscious man on the ground filming and laughing. And so certainly we've all seen fights on Carnival because instead of helping the knocked out guy, people are filming it. But I think that's what Carnival's battling, honestly. I think that's their biggest challenge. And they're just trying to put things in place for behavior. Yeah, that's it's a weird thing. I see Brimnet say uniform security everywhere on Carnival. That unfortunately, in these situations where there could be issues with behavior, I think one of the only ways you can do it is flood the areas with security. But then the challenge when you start flooding the ships with security and drug sniffing dogs and police presence, that kind of changes the vibe of the vacation a little bit. So you're like, do I want a cruise where it's like a constant security presence? Obviously, you want to be safe and you want to have a good time. And is the only lever to pull having all that security? Maybe in the short term, that's the only way you can enforce the behavior. But I don't know. I don't know how everybody feels about all that security. Vernon Wolf, question: sailing out of New Orleans in December, is the casino closed during the long trip down the Mississippi? Yeah, because there's casinos in Mississippi, and a lot of times the casino is closed if they're not given an exception by the locale that they're cruising to, because a lot of places have casinos on land and they don't want to compete with the casino on the cruise ship. So definitely casinos in New Orleans. There's probably other rules that apply, but from that perspective, most of the shops are going to be closed. Is New Orleans one of those places where they charge you an alcohol tax because you're still close to the land? I don't know. Texas is like that. Galveston, you still get charged. I think New York might be like that too. But yeah, casinos definitely closed. Let's see. I think I answered that question. Just looking for questions I may not have seen yet. Okay, Julia Biard, can you explain group cruise? Does this mean you're just going with a whole bunch of friends? Are you seeking out a group? So La Lita Loca group cruise, we have what we call connection points. So the goal is, and what we found after doing, I don't know, we probably should tally up how many group cruises that we've done, but I know we've probably traveled with over 1,000 people. And the wild thing is, not at one time, but across our group cruises, basically what I find is, because people see us on the internet and people sometimes know us in life, they want to cruise with us. They want to be on a cruise ship with us. And a lot of times the way that manifests is a lot of times people just want to have a little bit of a conversation. A lot of times they want to take your picture with them and do some sort of little hangout. And that's kind of been my big takeaway from the group cruises. And so the way our group cruises work is we try to build in connection points where we can facilitate that, where people can get a little bit of a hang, can get a little bit of a meet and greet, can get a picture if they want. The way we normally do it is on the first day of the cruise, we will have a meet and greet where we can hand out a schedule that shows all the connection points throughout the cruise. And sometimes we have events that are hosted by Jenny and I. A lot of times we have people on the cruise with us that want to host community events. So we'll have core events, we'll have community events. The one thing that we try to do where we can is we try to reserve dining for everybody in the main dining room. And then that's one of the connection points. We're at dinner every night, and we'll have people change out and come to the table that we're sitting at. We'll have people flow in and out of that. We'll walk around the dining room so we get that connection point. So normally we have the check-in meet and greet. We have dinner in the main dining room every night. Then we will try to do another like cocktail party meet and greet. We're trying to get a karaoke hour on our Princess cruise coming up. And then we just make ourselves available. Like, we're not hiding out in the cabin or anything. I'll just go to a public space. Anybody who plops down and hangs out, we hang out. I go to the show every night. I try to sit in a place where other people can join me at the show. And so the idea is to have those connection points, not overly plan somebody's cruise so that every waking moment you have to do something with us. But the real magic of the group cruise that we found, and I feel like it's a great opportunity for solo cruisers. I can think of probably 30 or 40 people that have lasting friendships that now cruise without La Lita Loca, that cruise with people that they've met on our group cruises. So to me, it's multifold. I think people, there's a financial incentive for us to have a group cruise. I think it's disingenuous for people to not say that they're having group cruises to make money. Nobody really talks about that. So there's a financial incentive for us to do it, but then there's also a community building aspect that we've seen play out in really a beautiful way. And then I do think it gives people a chance, because we're bombarded all the time. Hey, can we come to your town and take you to lunch? Or can we get on a phone call? Or can we do this? Or can we do that? I think a group cruise gives us an opportunity for people that want to have that level of interaction. To me, it's the most bizarre thing, right? I'm just some dude sitting in an office somewhere talking about things I love to talk about. And because of that, people want to get to talk to me or talk to Jenny B. And it's a humbling and a wild thing at the same time. And it was a thing that we had to learn to manage. And so the group cruise kind of becomes the perfect way for meet and greet, at sea. So I hope that answers the question. And I don't know that I've thought that much about the philosophy behind group cruise in a while, but thank you. Now I can go back and reference that. I do want to, the other thing I talked about in the show yesterday is that Carnival is going to allow you to order coffee from the Hub app. And one thing I picked up today on Doug Parker's show that maybe I missed yesterday was if you have a drink package, they're going to charge you to use the Hub app to order coffee, which I got to research that further. Anybody else hear that? That seems wild to me. If you don't have the drink package, it's free to order coffee because I guess you're paying for the coffee. But if you do have a drink package, maybe they're going to charge you to use the app. Why don't they just make it free for everybody? I don't know. I need to get down on that a little bit. Question from 1975 Lap. I feel like comparing drink packages is like comparing apples to tacos. Any tips on where to find a good drink package info? I've never really done a drink package video, but I would probably start on YouTube searching for drink package comparisons. I think the rule of thumb we always had on Carnival was if you're going to buy 5 beverages a day, and it could not be true anymore. It may be different because of the pricing. But if you're going to buy like 5 drinks a day, then it makes sense to have the drink package. Another technique that I've heard is take the money, try this for one cruise, take the money that you were going to spend on the drink package and just set that aside and use that to pay your folio and see if it's less than what you had paid for the drink package. But I don't know a good comparison. We don't drink that much, so I don't know a great comparison. All right. Oh, yeah, there's Mimi with what cruise line has the best drink package. I'm going of here. This is what I think, and we can fight each other on this one. I don't think we'll fight, but I do like what Princess did with the Princess Plus and the Princess Premier package. For $90 a day for Princess Premier, which seems expensive, so 7 times 9, $630. Is that the right math? On a 7-day cruise, Princess Premier, your gratuities are included. 4 devices on the internet are included. unlimited. Oh, they may limit you to 15, but alcoholic beverages are included, unlimited specialty dining, 2 premium desserts a day, 2 exercise classes. There's a lot baked into Premier, and I find that package to be the best package for me. I like that. It also includes using your medallion for room service and food delivery, unlimited pictures, but some of these drink packages are expensive though. So if you're just doing it to drink alcohol, I think you really have to do the math and say, okay, the average drink is $15 after tip or something. How many drinks, if you know, am I going to spend $80 a day when I'm only going to drink 3 drinks? Cause that's $45. But the nice thing with the drink package, a lot of times they include water, coffee, soft drinks, energy drinks, those kind of things. You just got to dig into it. But for me, the only time we really buy the package for anything is on the Princess ships. We usually get the Premier or the Plus. Let's see. Yeah, 1975 Lap makes a great point. Sometimes the drink package and all of these packages cost more money than what you would actually spend a la carte, one item at a time. But there is a nice feeling to that all-inclusive feeling. So cruising is essentially all-inclusive, partially all-inclusive. I don't know what label we want to put on it, but when you pay your cruise fare, you're going to get your cabin and you're going to get some sort of food included, buffet, main dining room, casual dining. And that's a big part of your vacation. You're also going to get transportation to go to all these different places in the world. So it's very all-inclusive like that. But you do run into a non-all-inclusive when it comes to buying alcoholic beverages, buying soft drink, buying coffee, buying water. And so really the drink package is going to allow you to bridge that gap and have a full all-inclusive experience. But is the juice worth the squeeze? That's the thing we all have to figure out for ourselves. Is the cost of having that all-inclusive experience better than whatever hassle you might feel thinking about? You know, because I've been in both scenarios. When you're paying by the drink, you order a drink, and then immediately you're like, oh, do I like this drink? I can't believe I paid $14 for the drink. I should have got something else. All of a sudden, because you're paying for it, all those thought processes start clicking through. But if you have the drink package and you get a crappy drink, you just get another drink, you know? And most of the time, if you paid for it, you don't like the drink, they're going to give you another drink. But I'm just saying, even in your mind, the fact that you're paying a la carte for stuff, it tweaks your head differently, in my opinion, or at least my head, tweaks your head differently than if you have a package. Let's see. Frank says, what are you most excited about in the next 90 days? August is going to be a very exciting month for me and Jenny B. So first, World America. I'm excited to see how well MSC has done big ships. I've probably been on 5 MSC cruises. I would have to count. I probably should break down my cruises by cruise line. I just counted the Carnival before this one. I think I've only been on 5 to 10 MSC cruises. I think 10 would be a high number. And so I've always enjoyed the hardware of MSC. I think they build some beautiful ships. I love the chrome. I love the maroon. I love the dark woods. So I'm interested to see what they did with World America. That's going to start my August off. And then the end of August, I'm going to go on the Star of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's newest cruise ship with the lovely Jenny B. And I didn't go on Icon. So this is going to be my first experience with the Icon class. And I am looking forward to seeing what Star of the Seas is. That's the next 30 days. We are going on the Carnival Conquest for one of those casino adults-only cruises. I'm excited to see what Carnival is like without any kids on it. And I don't know what we have after that. I got to look at that. 60 days. I think we have something in November. Well, we've got the October group cruise, which is that's within 90 days. I'm excited about that. And then I'm going on Star of the Seas or Star Princess, I think, in November. I've got a great rest of the year going on. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yes, Jenny B reminds me, which I hadn't forgotten, that it is my birthday on the Star of the Seas. This can be a birthday cruise, which is nice. Is it or will MSC be cheaper in price than Carnival? So Philip Young. That's a great question. Carnival has traditionally competed on entry price point. And I talk about this concept all the time, the total cost of cruising. So a lot of times it's easy to go if you're just looking for cruise cruises out there and you don't really care, you're just focusing on price, a lot of times Carnival will give you the lowest price to get on the cruise. But then when you start adding everything in, you're like, oh, maybe I could have went on a different cruise line. Not Royal, but MSC, I think, does also like to compete on that entry price. And I think you just have to compare cruise to cruise. I think sometimes MSC will be less expensive on the entry price, and sometimes Carnival will be less expensive. But I do see that MSC likes to compete that way. So, yeah. Are we on the Conquest 9 through 12? I don't know. Jenny B, do you know when our Conquest is in September? I don't know what the date is. I probably need to add it into... It's not in Shipmate, is it? I don't think it's in Shipmate yet. Let me look at Shipmate. In Shipmate, I've got MSC World America, Star of the Seas, Enchanted Princess, Star Princess, Norwegian Jewel, Norwegian Viva. Viva! Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Daniel says, where is your guess where Carnival will port their 4th and 5th members of XL? So what do we got? Where do we have representation now? Celebration in Miami, Mardi Gras in Port Canaveral, Jubilee in Galveston. Do you think they'll double up somewhere? I think Canaveral will probably get another one. Will they go up to New York? I mean, we have an Oasis class up in New York. California probably deserves a nice new ship. Long Beach. Or they'll just load up Florida. You might get 2 Miamis, 2 Canaverals. But I think it would be a sweet deal if they put a nice new ship out on the West Coast. I do like that California West Coast cruising, but I think Vista might be the newest ship that's out there, Panorama. Yeah, it'd be cool if one of the XLs went to. That'd be a fun trip from Europe all the way to California on the new XL. We have to be on the lookout for that. Let's see. So Sean's going on my birthday on the first Carnival adult cruise, the 22nd. What did Jenny B say? September the 11th, maybe. There you go. Question, 1975, are there ways to get free cruises? I don't know. I think like the naturalists and stuff like that, but you're getting paid for a job at that point. That puts you on the cruise ship, but I don't know. Other than casino, I think that's probably the easiest path. Yeah, California would like it. Like it. All right, a few more minutes. Get your last questions in. Thank you guys for coming out for a little bit of a live breakdown. I kind of like doing these. I do like doing the recorded videos also, but it is nice to take a break from the 5-6 hours to do the 12-minute show and just spend an hour with you guys. So. Oh, B2 in Texas. Yeah, we did go to Galveston pretty early on for the Jubilees run. It was fun. The challenge for me going to Texas, and no disrespect to Texas, because I like going out of Galveston, it's hard for me to justify. I got to go out for a reason, right? So maybe I go out and see the new Royal Terminal or something like that. But, a lot of times it's just going to the Western Caribbean. And it's like, I can do that from Tampa. I can go 45 minutes without an airplane flight and a hotel, Uber from Houston and a hotel. So it's got to be a real compelling reason to go out of Texas. And maybe the Princess puts another ship over there. I haven't done a Royal out of there, so there's still a few reasons to go to Texas, but unfortunately, the itinerary most of the time is not that. Come sail away with me. Thank you so much. Yeah, no ham. I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Obviously, they're just saying like no food products, but I love the fact that the graphic had like a big Fred Flintstone ham hock on it. Question, how about a live LP listening session one day? Robert, the problem is copywritten music. I mean, I could probably make a mix of Epidemic sound music, which I have the rights to for copyright, and we could, I got this little song queued up. I don't even know what it was. I think that song I was playing at the beginning, right? I think that was something I played for a dance break or something. I mean, we could do we could make those mixes all day, but I don't think I could play a LP. Song. Databetic, thank you so much for the super chat. Looking to take the top XP spot right at the end. Yeah, who's the top fan? Databetic, number 1. Jenny B, number 2. Tess Alman, number 3. I still don't understand how the top fan works, but you did it, Databetic, unless somebody dethroned you. I did see a question after that. Would you take a cruise other islands in the, this is Eric Rose, other islands in the Bahama other than New Providence and Grand Bahama and the private islands? Wherever they'll go, right? What is that port that Virgin goes to? Bimini? Is that in the Bahamas? I think I've been to most of this stuff in the Bahamas, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of limited to where the cruise ships go, if that's what the question is. Question from Katie. Are you hearing about a possible tsunami in Alaska? I looked through the news this morning. I didn't see anything about like that. Have you been on the Panorama? What do you think of 2 days in Cabo? I've been on the Panorama. I've been to Cabo. I like both of those. I would say yes. Enchantment of the Seas out of Tampa. I feel like I've gone on I think I've gone on a royal ship, but I don't I think I've been on Enchantment, but I don't know if it was out of Tampa. I do like all those little royal ships too. Question from Della Martinez. When you buy 2 tickets on Southwest, you get refunded regardless of whether the plane is sold out or not. Just wanted to clarify for you. Oh, that's good. I always heard that if the plane was sold out, you didn't get one back, but we do that. So that's the back end part of Fat Guy First Class. After your trip is over, you reach out to Southwest customer support, and they will give you the money back on one of the seats, which makes it even beautiful. So essentially, you're only out the money for one seat, but you get all of that goodness with it. All right. Well, I think I'm going to get out of here, and now I may go look for records since somebody mentioned that. Thank you guys for checking out the live show today. Please hit the like button on the way out. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 likes. And if you have not subscribed, I would wholeheartedly invite you to subscribe. There's only a short amount of time left to be a part of the first 300,000 subscribers to La Lido Loca. It's been a heck of a journey over the last 8 years. And I love doing this. I love talking about cruising with you guys, and I love the fact that you come out and watch it. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Shout out to the lovely Jenny B, the other half of La Lido Loca. Thank you for being in the chat and taking care of all that. And, I guess until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.